What's up, guys? Welcome to the Being Beautifully Honest podcast and channel. Thanks for being here, for being subscribed. If you're not, hit that button. And if you're listening on YouTube, hit that like button. It's like walking into the room and hitting that light switch. We just want to brighten up the place. So let's get into this podversation. And the fires and Maui situation is an extremely dark situation. It's being called like one of the worst wildfires in American history. And I shared a video to my community tab a few weeks ago by a fellow YouTube content creator that I'm subscribed to her channel, and just the breakdown that she did on the Maui wildfires and why these wildfires allegedly have taken place. But listen, I tend to believe that information, but that's just my belief. There are no hardcore, concrete facts and proof that the fires happen because of these very wealthy people, celebrities, and developers wanting to take the land. But I don't know where you all are located if you are in the United States. But if you're like me and you just look around and you see how trees are coming down all the time, or even sometimes before the trees come down, you will see a huge sign for sale. They're tearing down all of these trees and they're developing. They're developing everywhere. Areas that I remember being a child growing up, and it just used to be nothing but trees. Now it's either houses, apartment complexes, or shopping outlets, retail spaces. It's like they want everything to be developed. And so I've never been to Hawaii, haven't been yet. Hopefully someday I'll be able to get to go. But from what I've told, it's extremely beautiful. It's like paradise. But developers, they're all about their money. And a lot of celebrities too. And apparently they're accusing Oprah Winfrey of being a wealthy, greedy land grubber who allegedly hired private firefighters to protect the land that she owns over in Maui and to keep the displaced people off of her property versus just doing the right thing and trying to save a lot of people. And if that's the truth, it's really messed up. But she's been accused of doing everything that she can to protect her own estate from the fires that happened in August. So this story comes from Atlanta Black Star, and it says that multiple social media users have posted videos alleging that she hired a private team of firefighters to stave off the flames from damaging her 2,000 plus acres of land. Not to mention, many are still outraged that the former talk show host publicly visited shelters where the displaced residents sought refuge after losing their homes. So a TikTok video that has gotten a lot of views, has gone viral, that has been shared, claims that Winfrey hired the team before the fires even started, and that instead of taking some of that land and housing even a small portion of those displaced people, she hired a private security team to keep them off of the land. I'm going to play this video. I want you all to hear it, and then I'll continue with my commentary.
We were so concerned about what was happening in Maui.
You're so concerned about what's happening in Maui that you somehow managed to hire a private firefighting team to protect your land before the fires started. You're so concerned about what's happening in Maui that instead of taking some of that land and housing even a small portion of those displaced people, you've hired a private security team to keep them off your land. You're so concerned about Maui that you simply haven't had time to denounce any of the shady real estate deals which are robbing people of everything they have, like the ones you were involved in that helped you acquire that land for pennies on the dollar of what it was actually worth. You're so concerned about Maui that instead of taking what would amount to a year's salary for you and 4 or 5 of your billionaire friends, which could be used to rebuild the entire place in a matter of months, you're jumping on social media and asking the American public, most of whom can't afford to pay their rent right now, to do it for you. You're so concerned about Maui that it's more important that you get social media points than that you help.
All right, so you heard what that person had to say, and I wouldn't doubt it. She allegedly owns over 2,000 acres of land in Maui alone. Just her. That's not even including all of the other people. Now, the video that she did, that person did as a response to, she was in the video with therock, and he's being called out too. But she's been long criticized for taking up land ownership in this area that's definitely a tourist attraction. And with all of the things going on and the devastation that has happened, local people are calling on her and other notable wealthy people to help with the recovery efforts. It's like, if you can come over here, buy up the land allegedly for pennies on the dollar, which I wouldn't doubt it, because when people act as if people who have money don't need to do that. Yeah, they may not need to do that because they have the money, but most wealthy people, they want to keep and hold on to as much of it as they can. So that doesn't mean that they are willingly going to spend the asking price for it. They're going to negotiate, they're going to whittle down, and hey, if they can get that land for pennies on the dollar, they absolutely will do it. I'm not saying that someone can't own that much land if they want to, because we do live in a free society where a lot of these things are allowed. But sometimes it's like your need to do that versus your greed to do that. Why does she need to have 2,000 acres of land? You know, and so she's being called out for it. And therock is as well. And it's not just because of them owning the land. It's the fact that they are wanting you, me, the general public to contribute to a fund, quote unquote, that they created for the sake of the recovery efforts and the rebuilding efforts, when they could just do it themselves based on the wealth and the riches that they have already obtained. It's absolutely insane when I hear about people like this, that it's all, in my personal opinion, being beautifully honest, it's all for optics and also a write-off. Because when they create these funds, you better believe that their accountant has it set up in a way where it is a 501c3 or whatever type of entity they have it labeled as, so that they can get the tax benefits for it. Because to be honest with you guys, I am not an accountant. I am not even a financial expert, and I never would claim to be. But I believe a lot of the reasons why this country is in the shit that it's in, excuse my language, but that's just my personal opinion, is because the people like most of us who are listening to me, and like myself, who are dubbed the middle class, they squeeze us and get everything from us when it comes to taxes. But the big boys like these people, they don't pay their fair share. They try to get out of paying what they owe. And there wouldn't even be a freaking deficit if they were having to pay the amounts that they pay. And so you have the politicians who are in bed with a lot of these people, sometimes literally, but I'm speaking figuratively, and they allow for these things to happen, and yet they want to cut Social Security, they want to cut Medicaid, they want to cut Medicare, they want to cut all of the things like food stamp benefits and things like that for the people who actually do need them. I'm not talking about people who take advantage of the system. That honestly is a small percentage, but they really talk about that a whole lot to get the people who actually will need that stuff when they get to that point to vote against their own best interests. And that's why I am not a Democrat or a Republican. I don't wholeheartedly believe in either party, but I do believe that a lot of people who call themselves Republicans or even conservatives are people who vote against their own interests when it comes down to it, the bottom line, because most of them are not even rich or wealthy. So a lot of the things that they will actually need are the things that these people want to cut or get rid of. You know what I mean? So excuse me for getting on my soapbox talking about that right now, but it's the type of stuff like that that really angers me when I hear about people like the Oprahs, like the Rocks, like the Mark Zuckerbergs and the people like that who get to a place in their riches and their wealth where it would be nothing for them to just pool together if they didn't just want to be the one to do it all themselves to get things back up and running. But I do believe that video that I shared on my community tab from the YouTuber Rondale's Unpopular Opinion, I believe that content. I do. It's my personal opinion. I do believe that this is developers and politicians and other people who it's in their best benefit and interest way of getting rid of the people who this land is native to and taking it for pennies on the dollar, because it's going to displace a lot of these people and they're going to have no choice, the ones who are still alive, because this was a very devastating, tragic, violent, devastating fire that killed a lot of people. A lot of their ways of getting these people out of the way so that they can come back and build back cheaper, better, and bring in more housing that's going to be way more expensive, and all of these different things where a lot of the people who are native to the area are not going to be able to afford to live there anymore. You know, and that saddens me. But unfortunately, when you have this capitalistic society that we operate in, this is the type of stuff that happens all of the time. Not devastating fires like this happening all of the time, but I'm talking about things like gentrification, where the area is great, but the people who live there don't have the knowledge, don't have the experience, and definitely don't have the money to rehab, refurnish, build back, get things in the community that are going to help people to get off of drugs, to shape up and do better and things like that. They just rather push the people out, push them to another area, and then developers come in, get the properties for little or nothing, and then they build back better, and then it raises the property values of the area, and the people who used to live there can't afford to live there anymore. And so they just continue to kick the can down the road. They don't make the problems any better, and after a little bit of time, then people start forgetting about the people who were pushed out. And I'm speaking about that overall. But right now, of course, I'm speaking about the Maui wildfires and how Oprah Winfrey and The Rock is being called out for what they have done in terms of not doing, meaning, like the woman said in the video, she and 2, 3, 4, 5 of her very wealthy friends could just completely do it themselves. And it would be a tax write-off for them still, because it would be a donation. And get these people to be able to come back to their native places. But for them to want the general public to donate to their fund that they get a percentage of, I'm quite sure, even if they say all of the funds that are donated are going to go to the recovery efforts for the Maui wildfires, I don't believe that, because all of those things that are set up, they have administrative expenses. And a lot of times those administrative expenses are a very high percentage. So with that being said, it's just not enough. In another video, Oprah said that each resident over the age of 18 will receive $1,200 a month for 6 months or until the relief fund is depleted. What are these people going to do with $1,200 a month in Maui? What are they going to do with that? And for 6 months? So critics, they have a huge issue with her speaking about these things as if that's enough. Somebody said, if you two don't take your Hollywood elite behinds to your other Hollywood elite friends and politician buddies that got millions like you do and help out Maui, you are out of your damn mind. Another person said they could have just given them the money. The donation will be to raise money for a corrupt cause, thinly veiled as a good one. So The Rock and Oprah, they had the comments turned off. They disabled them under their post regarding this, but people can still sound off under other content regarding it as well. And so I'm just saying, this is absolutely insane. I can see why she's being called out. It's like, when it comes to these people, when is enough enough? They get to the point where they get so much and then they just have to have more. It literally is like a drug. I just wanted to talk about this because I don't fault anyone for doing well, becoming what we call, and especially in this country, successful. Success isn't just about money, though. I believe it is a huge part of it, but I also, in my personal opinion, I believe that those who have the means, because there's only so much you can do in your lifetime with what you have obtained when it comes to obtaining that much money, where a lot of people get to the point where they start doing stupid, ridiculous stuff with their money, like Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk on this race to go to Mars or go to space, the moon, wherever they're trying to go. All of it to me is just pretty stupid, but it's like, well, it's their money. They can do whatever they want to do with it. I guess, Jeff Bezos having a $500 million yacht. Why? You know what I mean? It's like, in my personal opinion, I'm not saying that there should be this equalness where those who don't have, if they're not doing anything to try to gain more, earn more, obtain more, should just be given everything. That's not what I'm saying. But I do believe, in my personal opinion, that those who have means like this, when you give more, you get more back anyway. But to expect the people like us to just give to your fund that you claim you've set up for these victims, you want us to give money. Why don't you all just contribute it? Because you've got it like that. And you're going to get more back anyway. The more you give, the more you get. But you, I believe, have gotten that more so that you can give more. I don't believe in the manipulative tactics like a lot of churches do, where they have people coming to church and they tell people these things like, you should give your last, God is going to give you more. No, I believe those who don't have it like that what you have, you be a good steward over that. You pay your bills, you take care of your responsibilities. You don't just give all your money to these people in these churches or these preachers or whatever, and then hoping that God will give it to you later to be able to handle what you have to handle. No, that's manipulation. But I believe this is also a manipulative tactic when it comes to these celebrities who do things like this. I'm not saying that if people who don't really have a whole lot shouldn't donate if they, want to. Donate if you want to. Do that. But expecting everyday regular people to just give to your fund when you could do it yourself. She could do it herself, but if she just partnered with The Rock, I believe if she and The Rock just came in and said, this is what we are doing ourselves versus asking the general public to give it to their fund, I don't believe that they would be getting the backlash that they're getting right now. So in my personal opinion, I do believe that the backlash is warranted. I'm not saying that it's going to do much, but heap some guilt on them, because this is absolutely insane. Because for her, if she allegedly did this, to hire a private firefighting company to protect her property, because they're saying that her property wasn't touched. Her property wasn't touched, but all of these other areas were affected. That's fishy in my opinion. So I do believe that happened, but I don't have any proof that it did, but that's what's being told. And I suspect that it actually is what happened. So I just wanted to talk about that, guys, because it disgusts me when I hear stories like this, especially when it comes to these celebrities that are expecting the general public to pitch in. And then when they say, you know, what they're doing, and it's giving these people where $1,200 a month is not going to, if they have more than a couple of people in their family, even be able to really feed them for the month. We're not even talking about housing. It's absolutely insane. $1,200 a month doesn't go anywhere these days. And I can't imagine how far it goes in Maui. Hawaii, one of the most expensive states to be, I guess, under New York and California. It's crazy. So anyway, guys, you can let me know your thoughts about all of this in the comment section. Thank you so much for being here, for liking and subscribing. I'm Beth, just being beautifully honest. So until the next time, I wanted to keep it brief, beautiful, and now I'm going to say bye.